Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIP-COT no government license, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is bipcot.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical. Yeah, this is episode 167, and oh my fucking god, we are starting on time. Why are we starting on time? I don't know. Maybe it's the sign of the apocalypse.
We're all going to get black bag tomorrow. Actually, no, because it's President's Day. It's a federal holiday, which means that they're not working.
Yeah,
that's
bludgies are barbecuing.
The bludgies are barbecuing. Yeah. No, it's a good day. It's like well, it's not really a good day. It's like the first Sunday in a long time without like any football, without any real sports. Like there's some hockey on, but I mean, you know, I'm not a Snownidian, so I don't care about hockey.
Hey,
but like there's like the NBA All-Star game is on later, which again I don't care about because I'm
also go Giannis.
Yes, but no baseball because the baseball is on a lockout. No football because the season's over with. Like I watched college softball earlier.
God,
that's how starved I was.
Yeah. Hey man, the All-Star game is gonna be sweet again. It's gonna have Giannis on it, and you know, Bucks and 6. Woo! So
go tall guys.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed Wisconsin didn't pull off a trifecta with the championships, man. The Brewers with the pennant, and then the Bucks with the NBA championship, and then Packers winning the Super Bowl. It would have been fucking amazing.
Do you guys have a hockey team?
No. Minnesota does. Minnesota has the Chill.
The Wild.
The Wild. Let's see. I think Michigan have one?
You could claim Chicago. You claim the Blackhawks.
I do not want to claim Chicago. No one wants to claim Chicago. I don't even want to acknowledge that Chicago exists if I can help it. No. No, we don't. Weirdly, we don't have an NHL team to my knowledge, but I mean, you know, I suppose it's because we all have all our local like hockey teams and stuff, and we all also Wisconsin tends to really hate Canadians, so we try to distance ourselves from them as much as possible because we keep getting confused for Canadians. I said something the other day to somebody about like, oh yeah, I had a guy call me from Superior, and they're like, isn't that in Canada? No, it's just almost in Canada.
Might as well be Canada.
It's further south than Duluth. I mean, Duluth is in Minnesota, and Superior is straight across the bay, so you know that's where the Edmund Fitzgerald left from.
Fucking nerd.
When everybody knows the Gordon Lightfoot song, don't give me that. You know what the Edmund Fitzgerald is.
Yeah, so Andrew's Southern Canadian. That's
At least I don't live in Wisconsin's Mexico, which is Illinois.
I live in Mexico.
Southern Canadian Irish.
I live in Mexico's Mexico.
Yeah. What would that be? What's south? What's directly south of Mexico?
Well, California is.
Well,
Mexico,
yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah. I'm trying to stop all the illegal immigrants from California into Mexico. No, go back. Go back.
Yeah, but as I was telling you earlier, I got to sit down in a restaurant yesterday. No mask. For the first time in almost 2 years.
It had to be surreal.
Right. We have the vax. They lifted the vax passport, which they only instituted in November, and then lifted the mask mandates, indoor mask mandate. So I was able to walk into a restaurant. I'm not vaccinated, so technically it's illegal. but I mean, they're not checking. But I was able to walk in without a mask, sit down, have a big, giant, humongous omelet, and come home and take a nap.
Seems like a pretty good fucking day.
I did. I did. We got up early. My dad and I went and had breakfast, and came home, dude. And I was like, God, man, that was so good. I'm so full, gonk. And slept for like 3 hours. No, it was needed. No, but let's see what Christopher just said. Interwebs is down, no access. Oh, bummer. No Christopher. It's too bad we don't have Christopher or Miss Ann Bonnie, aka Taylor Swift. She's dodging us.
Did she agree and then just not show up or what?
No, she's been sick like the past week apparently, and is still feeling like crap. So she was like, I can still barely keep my eyes open. I still feel like crap. I'm not going to try it. I'm like, okay, well, understand that we're going to be running a meme campaign for the next week to get you on next week. Now.
Hey, it worked. It worked for Dan Smots to get Dave Smith on his show. Right, so it can work. We can get Ann on here if we harass her enough.
Yeah, it's just it's just cyberbullying.
I'm not gonna drop her real name, but I'm gonna use her Twitter handle.
I could try and get Forrest Mommy on here one of these days. I've been hanging out with her the last couple weekends. Me and my wife.
Yeah, see, we need to get her on too.
She's actually on another podcast right now
she's
too.
Not, She's not Forrest Mommy. She's Desert Daddy or something like that, right?
No, now she's Terminator Mommy.
Oh, Terminator Mommy. That's right.
Yeah, Terminator Mommy now.
Yeah. We just hung out with her on Friday at the bar.
I'm not jealous or anything. I'm not going to be bitter. Damn
it.
Chris says it's Century.
Don't worry, my wife was getting all the love.
No, it was not.
Oh, we heard that. You're in trouble.
She's about to hang out with her this week and go in the jacuzzi while it's snowing.
Tell her we can hear her.
They can hear you pretty well.
We're good. She's trying to run my nails down her back. I'm not a stripper. She's a full married shit. Know your face, motherfucker.
That's why we like Sandy.
This is the quality content people tune in for right here.
Yes.
Yeah. Wallet take.
Jason said that's why we like Sandy.
Damn sticky. I didn't take no shit from nobody.
She's still going off.
I'm just a Latina. I'm spicy, motherfucker.
She's spicy. So where do we want to start? Let's get into some articles. We do have a Wisconsin article.
Hey, why don't we start there?
Start there.
I was talking about Wisconsin.
Do we? Okay, let's start in Wisconsin. It's not a good Wisconsin story.
Oh, I know.
Which one was that one?
The vaping.
Yeah. I should preface this by pointing out too that I know a little bit about I've heard about this one because one of my buddies runs the vape shop here in town. And so, have I heard about this? Yep, that's a good one. And of course, you guys know I have an article that I did not put in the queue because I like to spring that on you guys later. But let's see. Where's it at? Okay. Students strip searched for vaping devices. 6 teenage girls said they were forced to strip so school administrators could check them for vaping devices. Families of the teenagers say students at Suring High School in Wisconsin have now retained a civil rights lawyer after the local district attorney declined to bring criminal charges against school officials.
In
the reason
Wisconsin,
is just infuriating.
in Wisconsin, it's illegal for any official, employee, or agent of the school district to conduct a strip search of a student. School policy also specifies that this shouldn't be done. Okay. Right. But District Attorney Edward D. Burke said Thursday he would not press charges against Superintendent Kelly Casper and the school nurse, both women, who made the girls disrobe because Wisconsin law defines a strip search as requiring the exposure of genitalias, public areas, breast, or butts. Burke said the girls were asked to strip down to their underwear and bras, but not to take off their undergarments. Two students who weren't wearing underwear were allowed to leave the leggings on. Officials patted down their legs. Quote, one of the students was asked to pull her broadband away from her body, but her breasts were not exposed to Mrs. Casper or the nurse.
You still made them take off their fucking clothes, and they're teenagers. And it should be pointed out, Suring, by the way, is extreme northern Wisconsin. Like, it is up by the Menominee reservation. That is North Woods, super rural, like population, like 1,200 kind of places.
Yeah, I mean, they forced these girls to go, one of the girls actually says that they were forced to remove their bras so that the people could check the bras for the vaping device, whatever it was. But so they strip searched 6 teenage girls over a vaping device, but there are no criminal charges because according to the officials, they weren't exposed to nudity.
Fuck for this shit.
Yeah. Over a vaping device. Get your kids out of public schools. Get your kid.
Seriously.
Say it, Josh. Josh is turning red.
Government indoctrination centers.
Yeah. Josh is turning red.
And not because of my hot wife this time.
Yes.
And according to the article, according to the girl's lawyer, they had already found the
cigarette
device in question.
Yes, the see the search ground. First before the incident, the students were brought in for searches after being caught vaping on school grounds. One parent told the paper her daughter was, quote, was taken into a room and gave them her vape, and the superintendent told her that she was going to strip search her anyway.
So she surrendered the device, and they still decided to search these girls.
Yes, quote, to my way of thinking, it's hard to justify an intrusive search for an e-cigarette that you've already found.
Yeah.
Well, okay, even setting aside for a moment the indoctrination and all that other BS, the amount of authority and power and just brazen callousness that these school officials have in regards to children, the amount of power that they believe that they have, and the sheer callousness with which they do this sort of bullshit should just enrage. It should absolutely enrage that people have allowed these absolute bureaucrats to have over our children is insulting.
Yeah, and it's the same shit that ultimately leads to what we're seeing in Canada, where they feel like they can just literally trample people with horses and freeze their bank accounts and do it. They're starting to show their true colors now in a way that can't be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and this is where it starts. It starts in schools with school officials who think they can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and these kids learn, oh, well, the authority figures, they can just do anything that they want and they're in charge, so I have to obey them. And then from there, they turn into the adults who are still chanting back the blue as the blue is trampling a disabled grandmother with a horse. Like, get your kids out of public school. Stop letting the enemy be the ones that are educating them.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, school property like lockers. That's shit I grew up with, we all grew up with. They could search lockers. Strip searching a teenager, an adult, when they already found the contraband that was voluntarily given up.
Yeah.
Is
Because, well, she might have had another one. No, she fucking didn't. And even if she did, that does give you the fucking right to strip search a teenager.
Apparently it does.
Yeah, because Wisconsin law is fucked.
Because Wisconsin law is yeah.
Well, Wisconsin law is the direct result of a Republican majority for a significant amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's as authoritarian as it is. It's bounced between extreme Democrat supermajorities and extreme Republican supermajorities for generations.
Which makes
And
the cause
honestly,
for the reactionaryism and all that other stuff.
yeah, but honestly, it's not even red or blue. California is the same way. When I was in high school,
Well, even
we
in
were told
California,
we had no rights as students.
in California, if this happened in California, there would have been police officers doing it inside the principal's office.
They had. I saw almost weekly at my school that somebody was getting their backpack searched, patted down.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, and they clearly tell you in school that you have no rights as a student to privacy, to this, to that, and that's
which is a load of shit.
That's
we had a
because you're a minor.
We had a sheriff officer assigned to my campus in high school, and that was I graduated in 1998.
I graduated in 2002.
Right, this is 24 years ago now, and we had an officer, a sheriff's officer,
a resource
assigned,
officer,
yeah, with the badge and a big ass gun, and confiscating weed off the Mexican kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wasn't a good guy, but again, just the callousness with which they treat other people's like there's a saying I read the other day. It's Democrats don't have kids; they have your kids, right? Or
yeah.
Which tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, and keep in mind that the current governor in Wisconsin, Tony the Tyrant, was the state superintendent for schools for a long time till he got fired, and he was the superintendent for the Toma area school district, which is just a little ways away from me. For years before that, until he got fired as well. And so he's very authoritarian about schools and fully supportive of that shit.
I mean, I have a daughter. You have a daughter. I mean, this.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, you can bet that you better hope that I decide on a fucking lawsuit as my next course of action.
You do got a wee bit of that Irish heritage in you.
I just a wee bit.
Tell me, Principal, you surely drive your car to work, yes?
And it's that one over there, right? That's an awfully nice car.
The blue one there.
And Sandy has that Latino fire, as we know.
Yes. Yes.
Hey man,
she has her own wood chipper, by the way.
Yeah, stay clear of them when they're on the warpath. Just clear.
Oh.
When they become grandmas, they may have.
Saying, I love my wood chipper.
Yeah, when they become grandmas, they may have La Chancla, which is pretty dangerous. But prior to that, they just have knives.
You should see her knife collection.
There's nothing more dangerous.
And she knows how to use every single one.
Yeah, there's nothing more dangerous than a Latin grandma with a sandal.
Yeah, have you seen those videos of that one where she can almost just use the force to get it into her hand and then whips it at these ridiculous distances and still manages to get people? It's insane, the accuracy.
I've seen them before. Where they were throwing them at 7 yards and ringing steel. Yeah.
Beware, La Chancla.
I'm just saying, if the Bush thing happened in Mexico, he would have been ended.
Whack.
If the shoe throwing epicenter, the shoe throwing thing happened in Mexico City, it would have been we would have been.
It would have been that scene at the end of Austin Powers, the Samoan dude throwing the shoe and it knocks off the head of the statue. He's all.
So, all right, I'm over that. I want to stop being angry.
How's that not an Olympic sport, by the way? Sandal throwing. You feel like
I don't know. Where do you guys want to go?
well, I mean, if you
Go
don't want to
next
be
door.
angry, they're all gonna make you angry.
7. So pick a number between 1 and 7.
2.
John, you're listening. Pick a number between 1 and 7. Come on,
Right.
John.
Come on.
What's the delay between this and Facebook?
I think it's like 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. Might be
I don't
more.
know. I think John's going to pick 3. I think 3 sounds good. 30-day survival challenge. Okay. Let's see. Big Small said 4, so let's go with 4.
4.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. There we go. Biden administration sues Missouri over controversial gun rights bill.
Isn't it just fucking work?
They're literally suing Missouri for preventing federal gun control.
Yeah, they're suing a state for a state saying that we are going to use our enumerated powers.
Yes. Biden's administration is suing Missouri over its controversial gun rights bill passed last year, which would allow citizens to sue state or federal agencies for $50,000 if they prove their Second Amendment rights were violated. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland, thank God he's not on the federal on the SCOTUS. Merrick B. Garland announced the lawsuit Wednesday, saying that House Bill 85 violates the quote supremacy clause. It preempted by federal law. Violates the doctrine of intergovernmental immunity. That, for the record, is the same clause that was used to save Lon Hirachi from a voluntary manslaughter charge in response to shooting Vicky Weaver in the face.
Yeah.
Yes. The Justice Department states that the lawsuit that the law hurts cooperation between federal, state, and local law enforcement. Literally
That's
the entire
its
fucking point.
That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
The penalties associated with HB 85 have prompted state and local agencies and individuals within those entities to withdraw support for federal law enforcement efforts.
That's what
That means the law is working.
Yeah.
Including by not sharing critical data used to solve violent crimes and withdrawing from joint federal task forces. Again, that means the bill is working.
Yeah, that's almost like it was intended to do all of these things.
The DOJ also alleges federal authorities in the state have complained of difficulties in enforcing federal gun laws due to the law, as it effectively declares federal laws invalid. Again, that means it's working.
Very good. You have a special day.
Quote, this act impedes criminal law enforcement operations in Missouri. The United States will work to ensure that our state and local law enforcement partners are not penalized for doing their jobs to keep our communities safe.
By not enforcing the Second Amendment violations, they are doing their jobs by the definition of the law, you fucking muppet.
Yes. The Biden administration, who has opposed the law since its signing in 2021, with the DOJ telling a court of law telling a court the law was unconstitutional last August.
A law that says you can't violate someone's constitutional rights is unconstitutional.
The law literally says you can't violate the Constitution is unconstitutional. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt released a statement after the department's announcement defending the law. Quote, after their disastrous arguments in the Missouri Supreme Court last week, the Biden Department of Justice has now filed yet another partisan lawsuit that seeks to attack Missourians' Second Amendment rights. My office has fought to continue the initiative, but the initiative has been suspended solely because of the Biden administration's actions. Time and again, the Biden administration has put partisan politics ahead of public safety. Make no mistake, the law is on our side of the case, and I intend to beat the Biden administration in court once again.
I like that he mentions public safety, that it's in the interest of public safety.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. But all those things that Garlic mentioned in his statement, they all mean that the law is working.
Mhm.
So, and it's not necessarily a bad law at all. Let's see, what was the law? It's HB 85. I don't remember the exact. I don't know. I had a smartphone. I'll look it up.
So, to the Googles.
Yes. Let's see. This act creates the quote Second Amendment Preservation Act and lists various declarations of the Missouri General Assembly regarding the United States Constitution and the scope of the federal government's authority. In addition, the act declares that the federal supremacy does not apply to federal laws that restrict or prohibit the manufacture, ownership, and the use of firearms, firearm accessories, or ammunition within the state because such laws exceed the scope of the federal government's authority. Laws necessary for the regulation of the land and the United States Armed Forces are excluded from this type of federal firearms laws that exceed federal authority. This act declares as invalid all federal laws that infringe on the right to bear arms under the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 23 of the Missouri Constitution.
Yep.
Some laws declared invalid under the act include certain taxes, certain registration and tracking laws, certain prohibitions on the possession, ownership, use, and transfer of specific type of firearm, and the confiscation orders as provided in the act.
Yep.
Cool.
So basically, like essentially what it said was, I don't recognize your authority because I don't feel that you have it. Fuck off. And then the federal government's like, but we have the authority. And Missouri went, based on, and they went, the Constitution?
Yeah.
No.
It's funny. The Constitution says shall not be infringed. Well, the Constitution also says federal supremacy, so we can do what we want. That's not how it works, Mr. Talking Head.
Yeah, no, that isn't what happens. No. It's I mean this is the thing is, you know, that goes back to the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, where the Anti-Federalists pointed out, no, this Constitution that you're trying to replace the Articles of Confederation with makes the federal government way too powerful, and the states lose all their power, and we can't have that. We don't want that. The states should retain the ability to basically go, fuck off, I don't want to do that.
Well, you know, the same law exists in Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana.
Yep.
Which they're not trying to sue them. I wonder why that is. Because they have more guns than the federal government?
Yeah, why would you not go after the entire redoubt? Why could that possibly be?
Why would we go after that lone outlier?
I was reading it the other day, and it said the state of Montana has more firearms per capita than any other state in the United States. And the state of Montana, the state of Montana only has like 600,000 people. I have twice as many people in my county as the state of Montana.
Yeah, and think about how many there's. You know, I'm hearing the
Angel sing, thinking about Montana.
Well, yeah, I mean that too. Oh, it's the promised land. Hallelujah.
Hey, just say Far Cry 5 happens in Montana, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
Game.
Yeah, fantastic game. One of the greatest villains in the history of gaming. Oh, cool. We're on the radio at the pub. Hi, people at the pub.
Hi, people at the pub. Beers are on Jack.
Yeah, beers are all on Jack. He's buying everyone around right now. top
Out
shelf
of shots.
craft stuff.
Yeah. Shots
No,
of Fireball, Michelob Light for everybody.
I'm just I'm thinking about it, and I'm just thinking about the scene in Lord of War where he's like, that leaves only one question: how do we arm the other 11?
Well, again, this law, this Missouri law HB 85 is specifically designed to tell the federal government no, which is the entire point of the 10th Amendment, right?
Yeah,
So-
fuck you, no, as on the flag there.
Yes.
Fuck you,
You
no.
know, and as we also know, the federal government, especially like the ATF, the ATF only has, what is it, like 4,500 employees or something like that, right? But like
Mm.
half of those are administrators,
Fucking mosquitoes.
secretaries, things like that, right? So you have like at most 2,500 enforcers in the ATF, right? And again, some of those are supervisors. So like reality, you have like 2,000 like street level people in the ATF.
Yeah, there aren't very many actual operational personnel. It's the same thing as
Yeah.
any other army,
Which
where
means
majority
they
are in fact not combat.
which means they rely heavily on state and local law enforcement, right? These these joint task forces, they'll be like
$100.
one fed and one state and like 25 street level cops.
Yep.
Right. And this essentially says, fuck you, no thank you. You can keep your federal laws, your federal enforcement elsewhere.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. Which is a fantastic, localism. Fantastic example of localism.
It's too bad that they can't like just go, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and just declare the ATF illegal in the state, just as a whole. Just the ATF itself is illegal. We recognize it as a terrorist organization, and are not going to allow it to operate in our state.
Hashtag RIP your dog. But I agree. But again, at the state level, they don't have the authority to say the ATF is unconstitutional. But what they have the authority to say is that within the state, we have the authority to say state and local employees cannot cooperate with the federal government in things that violate the Constitution.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like even the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, they all have to request assistance from local law enforcement, and local law enforcement has the legal right to decline such assistance should they so choose.
No.
This just says you don't just have the right, you have the obligation within the state of Missouri to decline that. Because if you do assist them, you can be sued. We are revoking your qualified immunity at that point because you're doing something outside the purview of your job and what's state sanctioned. Therefore, you can be sued for violations of the Second Amendment.
You can be sued, not your department, not the city. You
directly.
can be sued, which qualifying immunity should be about the indivial and all that stuff. Yeah. That's a different article, different conversation, but this is the importance of having strong local sheriffs, right? Like I don't know if you guys have been following the localism movement, the Mises GOP, like the Mises Party or the Mises Caucus of the Libertarian Party. Well, there's a Mises Mises Caucus, a Mises political or a PAC, political action committee that started up within the GOP, and their entire thing is going after localism, right? It's not like fuck the federals, fuck the states, even go after the counties, get constitutional sheriffs elected, and get conservative members appointed to like advisory positions, especially like with school boards and things like that. And like that's their entire thing is you go local, right? Because going after the state, it's too big. It's too big to go after the state, right? But if you can go after your county and declare your county this and declare your city that and tell the state fuck you, right, or tell the federal government fuck you. That takes like big balls, because the county sheriff is the highest elected official within the
Like
county.
kind of what they're doing in New Hampshire. with
And
the
New Hampshire's
state.
New Hampshire's a really good example of it.
Yep.
Free State Project.
Mance Raymond, Pete Kionis, right? He's part of it, and I've been listening to him a lot and talking about it. And they're starting to think in Texas about that. A couple little places in Texas. There's some other ones in Ohio. Eastern Washington has really big of this. Did you know that in Eastern Washington? We talked about it on the last episode. 22 cities have declared the income tax illegal in the state of Washington. 11 counties have eliminated and declared income tax illegal in Washington, and they're all Eastern Washington counties in the states, or counties in cities, right? Not the liberal areas, the conservative areas. But it goes back to the old Sagebrush Rebellion days. I'm a big fan of.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, remember that thinking of it as an inverted pyramid is wrong. You got to remember that it is a right way up pyramid, where the federal government is actually a very small number of people, and they're depending on everything down below in order to continue to stand where they stand.
Shit rolls downhill.
Yeah, so if you start at the bottom and you start changing all of these little guys that they're trying to stand on the shoulders of to your cause, and you start changing that, eventually that just builds and builds and builds, and then eventually it doesn't matter anymore if the federal government wants to do something, because they can't.
You guys remember the Ron Paul movement in 2012?
Yeah,
right. It was. There was no big donors. There was no big support, no Koch brothers, none of that. It was all little people. Like Ron Paul got the most donations from members of the military. Right, of any candidate, Ron Paul got the most from the military.
What a shock that the one anti-war candidate was the one who got all the donations from a bunch of people who would have to fight those bullshit wars.
True. Yep. On a side note related to that. Fucking Ammon, you see Ammon Bundy's thing? Latest thing? Right, he put out a statement. He's no longer running as a Republican in Idaho. Now he's running as independent, which basically just killed his entire movement.
Yep.
Because Idaho's Republican heavy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which I'm seriously bummed about. So.
I mean, Idaho is Hemingway's favorite state. It's not bad, but it's not the best state politically in the redoubt, in my opinion. Montana still holds that, with Wyoming as a close second.
I think Ammon could have beat Little, but I think the lieutenant governor is going to get the Idaho GOP nod, and she's absolutely going to wipe the floor with Little. It's going to be fantastic to watch. She's based as fuck. I follow her on Twitter. She's fun. She's a fun follow. No. But yeah, sorry. Anarchist. Go back to Anarchy.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Back off.
Did we change the name of the podcast?
Opposition to mask mandates could get you branded a domestic violent extremist.
Woohoo!
DVE.
One of us.
Google gobble.
We need a domestic violence extremist patch.
Yes.
I think there's one out there. I don't know. I'll have to hunt for one. And if there's one, I'm going to order one. But
I have a smartphone. I can look it up.
I do have my caution, stay clear, probable drone target patch, and that's pretty much the same thing.
Let's see. I looked up domestic violence extremist patch, and it's just like, let's see. I see We the People. I see 3%er. I see Oathkeeper. I see. Oh, there's a Boogaloo one. Yeah.
I mean, I do have my Let's Get Radical one.
Let's see. I got my Wolverines. Keep your rifle by your side.
And I do have a Let's Get Radical.
This is as close as I have as to a domestic violence extremist patch. That's the
Yeah.
Serenity Firefly aiming to misbehave.
Yeah, I have that on the side of my truck, actually.
That's as close as I got. Unless you count biting the bullet. I have a biting the bullet patch. They're pretty domestic violence extremists for ex-Marines.
Yeah, I got to listen to them more.
Yeah. They said they'd come on if I asked them, but I haven't asked them. No.
I have this one.
Let's get radical.
Because we're radicals. See.
Yeah.
Let's get radical.
There we go. There we go. I'm rebel scum.
Yeah. There you go.
And it's multicam. Oh, that counts as domestic violence, right? Anyway.
Just get Poppins patches on that to make one.
On a domestic extremist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you oppose mask and vaccine mandates? Do you have lingering questions about the integrity of the 2020 election? Are you concerned that Afghan refugees who are being relocated to communities across America may not have been screened thoroughly? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Biden administration thinks you may be a domestic violent extremist.
Of course they do.
On October 7, 2022, Biden's Department of Homeland Security issued a, quote, National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin, warning of a, quote, heightened threat environment. I wonder why it's a heightened threat environment, and who is the cause for that heightened threat environment? Could it be the people that issued the mask and vaccine mandates? Could it be the people that fucked with the 2020 election and gave us the lingering questions? Could it be the people that brought the Afghan refugees to communities across America without thoroughly screening them? Just, could be.
Just spitballing.
Yeah. The DHS message sensibly contained alerts about foreign terrorists who may act alone or in cells to attack large gatherings, which are becoming more commonplace as COVID-19 restrictions loosen in some states. It noted the January assault at the synagogue in Colleyville, Texas, as an example of an attack motivated by religious animosity that supporters of foreign terrorist organizations may seek to emulate. Who just had to pay $230 million for a synagogue shooting in Texas? Oh, that's right. It was the Air Force. The Air Force had to do that. Why did they have to do that? Because they didn't do their fucking jobs. I'm just putting that out there.
But we're the extremists.
Yes. Those are legitimate concerns and worthy of noting. But the bulletin also ominously cautioned that, quote, threat actors seek to exasperate societal fiction, to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence.
Fiction.
I'm not getting paid. I'm not a threat actor.
Societal fiction.
Yes. Among the topics cited as methods to, quote, exasperate societal friction were COVID-19 vaccine and mask mandates, questions about election integrity, and the evacuation or settlement of Afghan nationals. So the message from the Biden administration that if you have the wrong opinion on these issues, you might be a terrorist. Are you a terrorist, Josh?
Yes, apparently, according to their definition.
Does Sandy know you're a terrorist?
Oh, she's the one with me.
This follows the October 2021 memorandum from Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland, which characterized parents upset with their local school boards as terrorist threats. So this recent DHS bulletin isn't a one-of-the-kind thing. The Biden administration views those who disagree with them as genuinely dangerous.
Oh, my God.
Based on this criteria, Biden must see a whole lot of suspected terrorists in Pennsylvania. Parents have been frustrated with their children who have been forced to wear masks in school all day long. They sometimes take their complaints to the school board, as they should. Millions of Pennsylvanians still have problems with how the 2020 election was conducted and have serious questions about the security of the elections moving forward. Heck, even Biden himself cast doubt on the legitimacy of the 2022 elections to come. Does this put him on the terrorist watch list? Yeah.
Yeah, he really should be, I guess.
Yes. Okay. Here, this is. I mean, that was all shit. We don't really care about it. It's not America if you can't express your opposition to the government policies. But this is the administration that Governor Tom Wolf and Shapiro aligned themselves with. They stifle dissent and want to criminalize political discourse. It's disgusting, and Pennsylvanians won't stand for it. Weaponizing the federal government to attack those with different political beliefs is fundamentally un-American. A tactic seen only in totalitarian regimes like Communist China and North Korea and Russia and Canada. And
yeah, I was going to say Canada.
yes.
Just saying.
Who wrote I didn't even really read through this. Who wrote this? This was written by Lou Barletta. And let's see, who's Lou Barletta? Oh, come on. He said when I'm governor in the let's see. He is a American politician, businessman, and U.S. representative for Pennsylvania 11th Congress District for 2011-2019. He was also the mayor of Hazleton, Pennsylvania. I guess he's running for office. Oh, okay. Yeah, he doesn't look like a mobster at all.
Yeah, that's
government mobster.
Yeah, he definitely looks like the kind of guy that's like, you talk to that guy Tony and you tell him.
I'm trying to remember. Matt Freeman, he pointed out.
Matt Freeman, status quo.
Yes, status quo. Either is the Washington Post or the Washington Examiner. One of them is actually like a front for the CIA or something. Like they're funded by them.
No, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I'm trying to remember which one. So every time I see one of these articles from Washington Post or Washington Examiner, I'm just like,
I just Washington Post. Washington Examiner is a little based. So it's probably Washington Post that is the front.
Yeah, it's either CIA or NSA has their hands in financing that, and that's all it is just a front for their shit.
Yeah. So all right, now that we've got the boring stuff out of the way, and we're far enough in that Spotify won't kick us off.
Yet.
Yeah. Alabama man arrested after placing flowers on fiance's grave.
Oh, this one was making me red when I was reading it earlier.
Yeah, this one fucking pisses me off so bad.
A March trial date has been set for an Alabama man who was arrested last month for littering after he placed a box of flowers on his fiance's grave in Auburn. That's Alabama, according to the reports. Winchester Higgins lost his fiancee Hannah Ford in a car crash on January 17th, 2021. That's the same day the couple visited their future wedding venue in Nogastoga, about 12 miles southeast of Auburn. Higgins said he remembered kissing Ford goodbye as she prepared to drive home to Montgomery, about 45 minutes away. Ford, 27, died in a 3-vehicle crash shortly after. It was roughly 1 month after he popped the question. Quote, the last things I heard her say were, I love you and I hate leaving you. After her death, Higgins built a flower box filled with her favorite flowers and covered it with the engagement pictures for placement in Hannah's grave in Auburn's Memorial Park Cemetery. He said he spoke with the city for the okay to place the flower box by her grave. So what it is, it's here, there's an actual picture of it. and it's literally just a box, and it has some pictures on it, and I assume that everything's lacquered over so that the rain and whatnot doesn't fuck with the box, doesn't mess up the pictures.
Yeah,
It's
it's a planter box.
It's literally just a little planter box with some flowers. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like
Let me take
maybe
pictures of it.
1 foot by like 3 or something like that, and like 1 foot high. It's not very big.
Yeah, it's not very big at all. It's probably not even that big, but Higgins know that the couple had a strained relationship with members of Ford's family. The Ford is the fiance, with Ford's family, and someone kept throwing the flowers away. Higgins, who kept placing the flowers back, said Ford's family never directly told him to stay away or to stop leaving the flowers. However, last month, so this is last month would be February, so this would be a month after she died. Higgins was on his way back to preach at an East Alabama church. He was pulled over by police for having an expired tag. Hannah's father, Hayden Ford, had apparently signed a warrant for Higgins' arrest for criminal littering. For criminal littering. Quote, the officer came back and said there was a warrant for my arrest, handcuffed me on the side of the road on a Sunday morning. Says, quote, I just want to be able to put flowers on her grave. Higgins said he wanted to honor Ford by leaving the flower box, noting that he would build 1,000 more if he could. The couple met in 2019 and got engaged in December 2020. Let's see. Auburn police release statement says, quote, in Alabama, certain burial plots are owned and controlled by the family of the deceased and therefore are private property. Any citizen has a right to pursue a criminal charge upon showing a sufficient probable cause exists to believe a crime has been committed. The individual charged in this case turned himself into the Auburn Police Department on January 24th, 2022, after a warrant was signed by another citizen. So she died January 17th. On January 24th, he was arrested for putting flowers on his dead fiance's grave.
Wow, her family are pieces of shit.
Shit, big
Right?
time people.
Holy
Pieces of
crap,
shit.
are they terrible people? Like, wow.
Oh
They
my
are
goodness.
Terrible
How-
people.
Does that look like littering? Like littering by definition is trash, garbage.
Yes. I
Yeah,
just
that was a
it's-
deliberately placed memorial.
Yeah.
That's oh
even
my
even the
God.
stuff on the side of the road that people are always putting for crash victims and stuff. That's not littering. That's memorial.
So, because of the law making the grave the ownership of the family, and she wasn't married to him yet, her family can be pieces of shit like this.
Yes.
And have him thrown in jail for leaving flowers on her grave. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that at least one or more of her male relatives is probably sucking the dick of the local police chief. And so they're more than happy to do this shit, because that's how shit works in the American South. Yeah, and that's how shit works in the American South, right? Like the cops have like absolute power. They're all power hungry, and they're all part of a good old boys club, and people who are part of those good old boys club can get them to do anything they want on command.
I wouldn't even
'cause they're just
doubt
good little
if some
dogs.
of her family is in the police force down there.
Let's
Probably.
It's so small.
Let's see. Hannah's father, Hayden Ford, had signed a warrant. So this is a different article for Hayden's arrest. The complaint dated January 4th says a person commits a crime of criminal littering if she engages in any of the following acts, quote, knowing the deposit, blah, blah, blah. Hayden Thomas Ford is the property owner of his daughter Hannah Ford's cemetery plot located at Memorial Park in Auburn, Alabama. Approximately 7 to 8 flower boxes have been placed on Hannah's gravesite without his permission. Winchester Higgins had been advised not to place the authorized item on Hannah's grave. So the dad says he told him not to. The fiance says no. He didn't tell him.
So it's he said, he said.
Yeah. So
What a piece of shit though. Like, he's just leaving flowers for his dead, the love of his life that's dead, and you are such a petty, small, fucking subhuman little piece of shit
Yeah, trial date set for March 17th. So
my god.
That's Winchester and Hannah. All right.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that like that dude deserves for God to strike him down with like a speeding bus or meteor or carnivorous underwear or something.
It said that Winchester was on his way to go preach.
Yeah, he's a pastor, so I can almost guarantee you what's going on is they don't like his brand of religion.
Yep.
And that's why they already had a falling out with her family. And now he's deciding he wants to be a complete and total douche.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Oh my. That's
okay. I had the dates wrong. So January 17th, 2021. So she died last year.
Yeah, so
right?
the 1 year anniversary of her death.
Yeah, so he was arrested a week after the 1 year anniversary of her death. Well, not that time really matters, but yeah, that's insane. It makes me angry. It's not even like I have no knowledge of these people at all, but it's stupid. Like, okay, I can understand. Like, at best, this would be a civil thing.
Yeah, small claims court. Something.
At best, it should be a small claims civil court thing in which a good judge would be like, "Fuck you, no." But throwing the man in a cage because he left flowers on his fiance's grave.
Criminal charges for flowers.
Yeah. Well, and I guarantee you that fucking pig didn't even bother to pay attention to what the warrant was for. He just saw warrant, went, "Oh boy, I got to meet collar."
And
arrested.
give me a bonus this month.
Yeah. I hope he resists so I can hit him.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Does he have a dog? I can shoot that.
Hey, well, that's okay. All dogs go to heaven, so I mean they got that go for them.
We still don't deserve dogs.
Oh.
But I mean, that is the insanity of shit like that. Like, dude,
it's a huge. Again, it goes back to the same thing when we talked about the girls being strip searched for the vape, right? It's the audacity. It's the self-indulgent importance that comes along with holding that badge, right, or holding that position of a supposed authority.
Respect my authority.
Yeah, we've given them so much rope that they hang us with it at every chance they get.
Yeah.
And it's just that they believe that they have an infinite amount of rope at this point.
Yeah, they can do anything they want to anyone they want. There's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't even matter the outcry about it. I mean, how many videos and news articles we see about this stuff, and it still continues to go constantly.
Nancy Pelosi the other day publicly declared the defund the police movement is dead. Right? She like officially came out and said, literally verbatim, the defund the police movement is dead.
Of course, because now they have the power and control of the police.
Well, and then it's because it failed. Because, well, number one, most places didn't do it, and number two, the few places that did do it and now have record criminal record crime rates. So she wants to distance the Democrats from that.
Of course.
Yeah. Because now they have the power, and now the police are their dogs, and so now they don't want to defund them.
Yes.
No, because
look at all the
their bullshit.
Yeah, look at all the fucking shit libs marching around, going yay yay, go RCMP about everything that's going on in Canada. Who less than 12 months ago were walking around with ACAB t-shirts on and shit, and going to BLM rallies. Like
the Twitter anti-fascist accounts were like, all cops are bastards, fuck the police, fuck 12 and all this other stuff. And now they're saying, there was a post the other day about how the RCMP are doing the right thing.
Yeah. And by the way, the woman who was knocked down, that is disabled grandmother, is also First Nations.
She's a 70-year-old First Nations woman.
Yeah. And she got trampled by the police, and the anti-fascists are the ones
we're like
going,
she deserved it.
Yeah, go, she deserved it.
She's a 70-year-old female minority. But, trample her with horses. Like, really? Really?
Yep.
Like that's where we're at in this society, where people celebrate a 70-year-old Native American woman being trampled by horses at a protest for freedom. That's where this world's at.
I mean, they have literally said that freedom is slavery.
No,
multiple times.
Freedom is an alt-right white supremacist dog whistle.
Yeah. See, freedom is slavery. That's freedom is slavery.
Do you even 1984, bro?
Yeah.
Freedom is slavery. Compliance is.
Well, they've been saying war is
something.
Peace for the longest damn time.
Well, yeah, that's what it said. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Whatever the
ignorance is strength.
Ignorance is strength. Yeah. like 1984 was not supposed to be a manual, bros.
Like, look at how prescient. Yeah, look at how prescient that British socialist was when he wrote 1984. Like,
yeah.
Jeez, and a lot of people forget that the man was he was a socialist, and even he saw this shit coming and was like, "Oh no." No, don't do that. But look at how prescient that all of those books, Animal Farm. I mean, you have Jen Psaki calling everything Russian propaganda, or saying, "Well, we never said that," or that was never part of Biden's campaign, or just trying to pretend that these things don't exist. You have Biden saying that, well, when the Second Amendment was written, you couldn't buy a cannon, even though nearly every single fucking cannon that existed in the United States was in fact privately owned when the Second Amendment was written.
The Navy was literally like privateers under a government contract.
Yeah, I would, if you couldn't own cannons when the Second Amendment was written, I would like Mr. Biden to explain to me exactly what the point of letters of marque is.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. What do you think they were doing in Tripoli?
He doesn't even remember what he had for lunch. You expect him to know that?
Yeah, and that's the thing that always irks me about the Marine Corps anthem, where they're like, to the shores of Tripoli. It's like, you didn't even take out the Tripoli pirates. That was a bunch of privateers. That was a bunch of private citizens with privately owned warships that, contrary again to Biden, you could in fact own when the Second Amendment was written. You could build a multi-decked warship.
You can still build them according to the Constitution.
Yeah, you should still be able to build a multi-deck warship. I should be able to own a fucking aircraft carrier.
Even the what is it? The gun, not the Gun Control Act, the other one. The
NFA.
The NFA still says that you have the right to produce your own firearms.
Yeah, you can still make stuff. You just have to pay a tax stamp for it.
Yeah.
That's what that said. It wasn't until the GCA and the Hughes Amendment that all of a sudden everything changed. But yeah, I actually had some crazy dude in my work yesterday telling me that he owned a battleship. Dude, I wish.
I got a copy of that. I got a copy of that in my my cabinet out there.
A battleship?
A battleship, yeah.
He was like, I own a battleship. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to ask you to leave now.
Does it fit in the bathtub with you?
No, it's out here in Lake Superior.
Shampoo is better.
Does it wind up?
Oh, speaking of violating our most basic rights. This is the hidden article that I did not send you guys.
Oh boy.
And it is this is
Here we go.
proposed by Washington, D.C. City Council member Mary Che. It is called the Healthy Hospitals Amendment Act of 2022. And it would prohibit hospitals within the city from serving bacon, sausage, and other processed meats, and mandate they expand their offerings of plant-based meals and healthy beverages. Literally, the bill would ban bacon and sausage from dying people. Andrew is twitching. And Andrew is twitching.
You want to take away bacon?
Big. Imagine being in the hospital and sick, dying of cancer, and like, all I want is bacon. And they're like, it's against the law for us to give you bacon, sir.
At that point, I'm dying anyway. We are going full falling down here. That's what's happening.
Oh yeah.
When did I become the bad guy? I just
Yes.
wanted some fucking sausage and some fucking bacon.
Yes, DC bill would ban hospitals from serving bacon to dying patients. People who want to stock up on comfort foods and snacks before visiting their loved ones in DC hospitals, should a new bill from City Council member Mary Che become law. Che's Healthy Hospitals Amendment Act of 2022 would prohibit hospitals in the city from serving bacon, sausage, and other processed meats, and mandate that they expand their offerings of plant-based meals and healthy beverages.
Just eat the bugs.
Just eat the bugs.
Because
Well,
healthy
research
food
show-
is what the dying people want.
Yes. Research shows that a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, grains and beans can help fight heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and cancer.
No, it shows
Ro-
exactly the fucking opposite.
Wrote Che in a letter Friday introducing her bill, noting that less than 10% of DC adults are getting the recommended number of vegetables in their diet.
Human
Quote,
beings aren't supposed to be eating all this shit.
Quote,
Supposed to be eating meat.
with this bill, we can help increase those numbers by ensuring that everyone at the hospital has access to healthy meals.
Oh my god! You know what? You know what this means now is tomorrow there's a place here in town that offers this. Tomorrow I am going to order one of their bacon sandwiches. It is 14 pieces of bacon on some bread, and that's it. And I'm going to order one, and I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of it.
It's not the first time she's submitted this bill. She also submitted it in 2019, but it stalled in the city council.
What a shock!
The legislation is based on a 2017 resolution from the American Medical Association calling for hospitals to eliminate processed meats, promote healthy beverages, and provide healthy food at reasonable prices.
Healthy food. They're dying.
They're fucking like cancer.
One,
You're
they're
dying. You're
dying.
dying.
Two, meat is still healthier than that fake shit they're going to try and shove down their throats.
You know,
And
when
I don't know what I said about 90%, but the vast majority of the time when people have an allergic reaction to gluten and to certain fruits and vegetables, it's not the gluten or the fruits and the vegetables. It's the Roundup and the other shit that the farmers spray on it, which is all, FDA approved. Or in foreign countries like Brazil, where they have no FDA, is where it's growing and imported from.
Well, in human beings, our digestion cannot properly process the outside of seeds. The outside of seeds is a specific protein chain that's designed to prevent bugs from eating it, right? Because the seed wants to grow and not be eaten by a bug. So it's got these specific protein chains that are intentionally really hard to digest. Certain animals have certain enzymes in their digestive system that can break that down. Human beings are not one of those. We cannot break it down. That's why we can digest peanut butter, which is crushed nuts, much better than we can digest walnuts if we try to eat those.
What's the old, if you eat watermelon seeds, a watermelon will grow in your belly?
Yeah, that's
Remember being told that?
Yeah, that isn't actually what happens, but we can't digest the outside of seeds, which means that includes grains. So that includes things like oats and wheat and barley and things. If it's a whole grain, you actually can't digest it as well as you can if it's not, if it's been stripped to that outside coating. that should tell you something about
Josh-
what humans are supposed to eat.
Yeah, Josh and I are both diabetic. I think Andrew. I think you and I have talked about diabetes also, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, my grandpa was diabetic.
Yeah. So Josh, what did you have to cut out of your diet to stop your A1C from going through the roof?
Bread, flour, barley, grains,
grain.
corn,
It's
which is a giant fucking grain.
It's healthy, totally healthy. Eat
Yeah.
Potatoes.
a day.
Well, and
We
on
were
top
talking
of
about
that, we
that
were talking
stew
about
earlier. It's like fucking can't have potatoes.
yeah,
Dick.
and well, and
I had a
Oh,
I had a
yeah, it
banana
was
the
fun,
other
right?
day, and I swear to God, my blood sugar went.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you
why
know,
I don't
like,
even
when-
touch that
I
stuff.
thought I was tripping.
And on top of that, we're talking about dying people. Like when my grandfather was dying, right? He was dying at home, and we had him stay home for that and stuff, because he had pancreatic cancer, and he was diabetic most of his life. Not that he ever actually cared,
Yes,
but he, eat more dead animals. But he wasn't supposed to eat things like ice cream and cookies and like peanut butter and all these things that were like his favorite foods ever. So he had to go a huge chunk of his life without actually getting to eat any of that stuff. When he was dying, you know what we got him? We got him rainbow sherbet because he loved
Mhm.
that. We got him a bunch of Oreo cookies because he loved Oreos.
Yep,
And he just gorged
Yep.
himself on this stuff because he hadn't gotten to have it. Because you know what? He's dying. It doesn't fucking matter.
yeah, when the feds come for us in our compound over taxes, I'm dying with a Twinkie in my mouth. Right, it's gonna be
Skittles.
brass everywhere and a Twinkie in my mouth. Andrew's gonna have a cigar.
I'll have a
Yep.
Twinkie like a cigar.
Yeah, I'll have a big old
With
cigar.
a pinky up.
Yeah, big old cigar and a big glass of whiskey and probably, like 8 empty Skittles bags behind me. And I'll just be like, fuck this shit, man.
It's just Andrew sitting at a table with the M60 on a bipod, and he's just using it. He's operating it with one hand and just eating Skittles with the other.
Dude, I fucking love Skittles. You can buy at Walmart, you can buy those like retail kind of boxes where it's like a variety of Skittles, and I love getting those. Like, because so many Skittles. I will eat sour Skittles until my mouth is actually cut up into ribbons. I love Skittles. Fucking love Skittles.
Woody Harrelson in Zombieland. Yes.
Yeah, with the search for the Twinkie. Right?
Search for the
it's the end of the
Twinkies,
world
right?
anyway.
It's the end of the world. He's dying anyway.
Yeah, so I want a fucking Twinkie before I go out. That's the thing. Like, look at what they have the last meal requests for death row inmates where they can choose to get a giant pile of bacon and like sausage if they want. So the death row inmate gets to get that, but the dying cancer patient in Washington D.C. will be verboten from eating.
Oh, this gets better, right?
Oh, fucking course.
Hospitals would also be prohibited from providing sugar-sweetened beverages as part of the patient's meals unless necessary for therapeutic purposes. Chase Bill says hospitals are institutions of healing, so they shouldn't be selling food that contributes to poor health.
They're dying.
It doesn't fucking matter. I just
circle back.
So again, they they can't have chocolate milk.
Yeah,
they can't have chocolate milk and some chocolate chip cookies or some chocolate covered bacon, which is fucking delicious.
Oh, I tried bacon the other day. It was like honey glazed with like brown sugar on it and stuff. Oh yeah, buddy, it was good.
Yeah, we're gonna tell Sandy we're talking about sweets. We're gonna get in trouble.
No, she'll just let me pass her some sweets.
You gotta tell her, oh, you're sweet enough, and she'll be like, you lying.
I'll just throw up in my mouth a little bit.
I'll tell that to Lindsay too, and she'll believe me.
She'll also be like, that's fucking gross. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
She'll believe me because she likes me more than you.
Oh, I threatened to kick her out of the car if she wasn't driving earlier today. Like, if you weren't driving, I would have kicked you out of the car right now. Not even slowing down.
30-day survival challenge. Canadian YouTuber charged for violating National Park Act. Right, that's what they tell us, right? If you don't want to pay taxes, if you don't want to blah blah blah, well, go live in the woods.
Yeah, go live in the woods and just start your own thing. Okay.
So
that.
So this guy went to stay in the woods for 30 days, and he was charged with this stupid pocket ads. Charged for unlawful fishing, hunting, discharging firearms, lighting fires, damaging natural objects, and operating a drone inside the national park.
Oh Jesus!
Are you serious? Oh,
Operating
a drone inside national park. Wow. Okay.
Yes. It says these stupid pop-up ads on this fucking gearjunkie.com. Crazy amount of pop-up ads. You might know self-proclaimed survivalists Gregory Owens and Zachary Fowler from the History Channel's Alone or YouTube. The two met in 2016 while filming the survival series in Patagonia. Fowler won the season and walked away with $500,000 cash prize. 3 years later, the pair began churning out wilderness survival content on YouTube. In that time, Owens' channel Rocky Mountain Bushcraft has garnered more than 500,000 subscribers and nearly 50 million views. Now they're facing legal actions over the violations that took place while filming their self-proclaimed 30-day survival challenge in 2019. They each had to dole out a $110,500 fee if guilty. So they each have to dole out $110,500 US. So it's $140,000 Canadian if they are found guilty. The allegations stem from their multi-year investigation undertaken by the Parks Canada and BC Conservation Office Service. The joint investigation was spurred by a public report in 2019.
Multi-year investigation because a man camped. Two men camped in the woods.
And for 30 days, yes. Owens has appeared in court several times, including appearance February 9, 2022 in Calgary Regional Disposition Court. Authorities have issued an arrest warrant to Fowler, who seems to be practicing a survivalist method known as hide and seek. Something tells me they won't end up winning a stack of cash this time. According to the statement. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, too, with this is, most survivalists that I know, and I do a fair amount of survivalism and everything else, and you get taught not to leave anything behind. You leave no trace, right? There's no way anyone could ever tell that you were ever there, which means that in that 30 days that he was out there, he didn't affect anything.
Yeah, and
he didn't hurt anything.
The only evidence is the videos.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, if you go into any one of those national parks and you go to one of their great big state authorized campgrounds, I guarantee you there's going to be garbage all over the place. Yep. There's going to be all sorts of shit left all over. I mean, but that's okay. But if you go into the woods and you affect absolutely nothing and you leave no wake at all through the woods, now suddenly you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, Scott apparently saw it. He said they're both really good at cleaning up, even in the videos.
Yeah, they don't leave anything behind.
Which I believe, yeah, absolutely.
They didn't leave any garbage. They didn't litter. They didn't nothing.
Yep. According to a statement from Parks Canada, Owens faces 6 charges and Fowler faces 7. Charges against both bushcraftmen included damaging and destroying vegetation, discharging firearms, catching and retaining Yellowstone cutthroat trout, other fishing offenses, lighting fires, and using an unpermitted drone inside the national park boundaries.
Yeah, the unpermitted drone that they used to film. Oh, no, it flew. There was a flying thing that we didn't say was okay. Jesus.
Fucking Canada.
According to Canada National Parks Act and Banff National Park regulations, fishing within Canada's national parks requires a specific fishing permit. Provisional licenses do not suffice. Except for the 2 trout limit that applies to Lake Milwaukee Reservoir, possession of any fish caught in Banff Park territory is a criminal offense. So again, you don't have the right to, fish for food without the government.
To feed yourself. You don't have the
permission
right to feed yourself.
To live, survive, anything.
Yes. The same regulations state that the firearms and hunting are against park rules. Again, you're not allowed to be self-sufficient. And the unpermitted use of the drones within the park boundaries is also strictly prohibited.
God, even our government's not that damn bad.
There was one or two hawks which were briefly confused. Oh no.
Owens is disputing the charges, citing a lack of public notice from the Parks Administration. Quote, "We're not denying that we were there doing these things. It's obvious in the videos, but it's just the principle that they don't do anything to let the public know when they change the rules." So apparently the rules were changed.
Yeah, why would they? Because they want to catch you.
Hey,
Because
they
make money
updated
then.
their website. It's your job to do the research.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me?
What is
Dude,
ignorance is no excuse of law? Or no
Yeah. I go
Well,
and
that's down here. Yeah.
I go camping in the Mequamagon or Chequamagon, whatever, something Womagon National Park here in Wisconsin, up in the national forest there. And I paid for my park sticker and everything else to be able to camp there and do all that stuff. And then I forgot the stupid sticker to put in my window. Right. No big deal. It said right on the email that I got, like, oh, you can just show the park ranger the email here. That'll count. You put just a piece of paper on your dashboard with your permit number and stuff, and that's fine. That'll work. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I go there, no big deal. We get there. We're there for 2 days. Guy shows up and then gives me shit. And he's like, oh, that doesn't count. And I'm like, it says right in the email. Like, I showed him the email and he still wanted to argue with me and wanted me to make me drive to another park nearby to go have them hand me a sticker to put in my window. And I'm like, but I already have a sticker. That seems like a waste. I just have 2 stickers then, which means I technically could just put one on each vehicle, and I'm not supposed to do that. You don't want me to be able to do that, I was under the impression, but I mean, argued with me, and I'm like, it's right here. It's right. They even change rules without notifying their fucking rangers. They just decide things.
Another article says that they had obtained provisional fishing license, but did not have one specifically for the park.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be part of their society. They don't want to allow you to be part of their society. But if you go, okay, fine, then I'll go off to the woods and just do my own thing. They also go, well, you're not allowed to do that either.
Let's see. And the Alone Patagonia, Oven survived 51 days in Patagonia, while Fowler, who's actually from Maine, emerged after 87 days and was crowned the winner. So 3 months in the Patagonia wilderness with very basic tools. Yeah, he can do vacation, to be honest with you. He can do 30 days in Canada, literally sitting on his head.
Yeah, that. I mean, again, that sounds like a really nice vacation. I mean, a little tough, but seems like a really nice fucking vacation. Like 80 days without having to do anything with society whatsoever. Not a zilch. Hell yeah.
Living the dream.
No, please don't throw me into the briar patch.
I'm making whiskey out of maple sap. Just saying it's possible.
Yeah, that would be, well, yeah, it's sugar. You can do it.
Yeah.
Actually, you could make a spruce beer, which was very popular during the American Revolution. You just cut the tips off of spruce trees and young spruce tips, and you can make it's called a small beer. It's very low in alcohol, but makes your water for sure safe.
Maple Moonshine.
I'm pretty sure I can go to the store right now and go buy that.
I'm sure you could. You can do pine needle moonshine.
No, I can't. That would kill me.
I got green tea. It's not even
pine,
close. But
I'm allergic to pine. That would actually kill me. That would be a terrible idea.
You're allergic to pine?
Yeah, I'm allergic to pine. Not horribly allergic, but if I get poked by the needles or I get the sap on me, I get welts and I get itchy, and yeah, I can't really interact with pine trees, which is great because I live in a state that is 3/4 pine trees.
No, that sounds like a you problem, bro.
That's fantastic.
So, all right, let's talk about fascism.
I talk about fascism way too much lately.
Oh, this is a good one. I don't know if you read this about the family, the civil asset forfeiture one.
No, but that.
I think I did.
Ooh. The FBI seized almost $1 million from this family and never charged them with a crime.
Oh, I did. She's...
The couple in Seattle or in the Washington area.
Yep.
This gets so good, Josh.
Oh,
Carl
God.
Nelson and Amy Sterner Nelson's pre-pandemic lives looked a lot different than the ones they live now. There are the obvious ways, and there are not so obvious ways, like the fact that they sold their house, their car, liquidated their retirement funds, and moved the family of 6 from comfortable West Seattle to Amy's sister's basement after the FBI seized almost $1 million from them in May 2020. We went from living a life where we were both working full-time to provide for our daughters to really figuring out how we were going to make it month to month. It completely changed my belief in fairness. This is the kicker right here. The Bureau took funds from nearly every corner of Nelson's world, including, for instance, the savings Amy racked up from her decade as a practicing attorney and her later efforts to head the Riveter, which is a co-working startup she founded. But the FBI never even suspected Amy of committing any crimes. It was Carl they were investigating, a probe that has not resulted in a single charge against him almost 2 years later. They recently got a settlement from the government, and they gave the government gave them back a bunch of money, but they had to forfeit like $100,000 or some BS. But okay, this is where it starts. In April 2020, agents showed up at the Nelson's home and informed them that Carl, a former real estate transaction manager for Amazon, was under investigations for allegedly depriving the tech behemoth of his, quote, honest services.
What?
He was under investigation for allegedly depriving the tech behemoth of his, quote, honest services. In plainer terms,
real estate.
In plainer terms, they accused him of showing favor to certain developers and securing them deals in exchange for illegal kickbacks. Quote, that never happened, and it is exactly why I fought as long and as hard as I did, he says. It's that simple.
Yeah, so the real estate law is pretty specific, just like if you're a realtor, just like if you're an attorney, where you're required to, under the law, it specifically lists like that you have to deliver to the best of your abilities in full faith, blah blah blah. So that's what they're trying to do here, but they don't actually have any proof of it. So they just took all his money and went, well, we'll find proof eventually, because that's how the Constitution is supposed to work, right?
Yes. Whether or not the FBI has come to that conclusion is still a mystery. Its years-long investigation into Carl's alleged fraud has not yielded any indictment. Yet no such thing was necessary for the federal government to wreck the Nelsons' lives, costing them their home, their community, their jobs, the girls' place in Seattle school, and their security for the future. Perhaps more vexing, the FBI has, in some cases, subtly conceded that it didn't need any of the above to complete their investigation or hamstring any supposed criminal operations run by Carl. Last week, the government agreed to a settlement of the original approximately $892,000 it seized. It will return $525,000, while Amy and Carl had to forfeit about $109,000, and the remaining sum has been depleted by court fees.
So they robbed them and then robbed them some more.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, oh, we'll give you
we screwed up, but by the way, you got to pay for the bill.
The government took $892,000 without charges, returned $525,000. Amy and Carl had to forfeit $109,000 to the federal government, and then the remaining sum. So that's what, $625. So we'll say $635. So you're looking at like $360,000. That had been depleted by court fees. So they had to spend $360,000 to defend themselves without charges.
I was going to say, and all of this is without any charges or convictions. Remember, they have never been
their
convicted
property
of a crime.
wasn't by ill-gotten gains.
And that's not including they had to sell their house. They sold their vehicle. They moved 6 times and are currently living in her sister's basement, all without conviction or even indictment.
Oh, but don't worry, you have rights under the Constitution.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
hard, says Amy. Not much has changed for us. She notes that Carl is still a defendant in the massive federal lawsuit against Amazon, and they accepted the deal so that they have money for attorney fees. She adds that, quote, it feels like the beginning of some justice.
No, it's
in
not.
In their case, justice looks like losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's not fucking just. That's. Oh, and guess why they're able to do that? Do you guys want to know? Do you want to know what law allows them to do that? It's called the Omnibus Crime Bill. Guess who co-authored that?
Yes.
Joe Biden.
Yes. So, yeah. There's also a stat in here. Where is it? Civil asset forfeiture is also lucrative. State, local, and federal governments have seized 68.8 billion. That's with a B. 68.8 billion versus civil asset forfeiture over the last 20 years. So according to a recent report by the IJ, that's the Institute for Justice, quote, the vast majority of seizures and forfeitures are driven by the profit incentive. In most states at the federal level, police and prosecutors get to keep up to 100% of the proceeds. So they just have a very strong incentive to go out and seize whatever they can and try to forfeit it so that they can supplement their budgets.
So that it's not even like the way taxes are legalized robbery. It's just blatantly legalized robbery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't imagine why people shoot at cops when they kick in their doors.
Right. Or on roadside, pullovers.
Yeah. Can't possibly be because they're legally allowed to just rob you.
The forfeiture isn't the only thing that the Nelsons feel that they've lost, nor is it the only intimidation tactic they believe the government has used as an attempt to strong-arm Carl into buckling. During the conversation, the only time Amy cries is when recounting the months she spent waking up before sunrise, getting her 4 daughters ready, and driving them an hour each way to a faraway park. The reason, in case that the government made good on the criminal indictment it had threatened Carl with, Carl had asked to turn himself in so his daughters wouldn't see the arrest. The FBI refused that offer.
Of course it did, because they didn't actually have anything to charge him with, so he couldn't turn himself in.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the government literally took $892,000 from these people, returned, was it 525, seized 109 of it, and then the rest went to lawyers' fees. So they spent $360,000 fighting the government to lose $470,000.
No charges, and they still seized 109. Like, okay, we're
not only include that, but like some of that money was from her 10 years as a lawyer and her other business that she was
completely
unrelated.
unrelated.
Yes.
Yeah. Completely unrelated with no provable connection whatsoever.
Income completely unrelated. But they still had to sell their house, sell their car, move 6 times, and ended up living in her sister's basement.
But don't worry, just wait for your day in court.
Yeah, just wait for your day in court. If you don't like it, you go live in the woods.
This is just how do people not see? How do you not see so blatantly how corrupt and awful?
Look at Canada right now. Look at Ottawa right now. That's how you don't see it.
They can, the government can seize your assets, freeze your assets with no criminal charges at all. None.
No charge.
Nope.
Yeah, no charge. Not even without a conviction. No, without charges at all.
Yeah. No proof or suspicion that you did anything wrong. They can just go, you know what? I don't like that guy. And then take your money. So they can rob you. They can, if you then go, well, I guess I don't have any money, and you run off to the woods, they can then arrest you for being in the woods. and
Yep.
throw you in a cage.
Yep.
They can trample you with a horse, beat you, tase you, shoot you, murder your pregnant girlfriend, murder you, anything they want.
Euthanize your
And
dog.
nothing. Yeah, shoot your dog, anything they want, and you can do effectively nothing but beg, please, sir, give me some of my money back.
Yes.
There are still people that think that that organization is not a crime syndicate.
Yeah, the only right you have is to beg the government for your rights, I guess.
Oh,
And you have to pay for that privilege.
Yeah, and you have to pay.
If you can afford the privilege, yes. Yes.
You know, that's the ridiculous thing. In China, right? In communist China, if the government wants to build a highway, they cannot force you out of your home. So if you say no, they have to build the road around your house.
Yeah, there's a famous picture of like an 8-lane highway that splits around like this small little farmhouse.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right.
Because they refused to sell. And China has better property protections. Communist China has better property protections than the land of the free.
You served in Afghanistan, right? In Iraq and Afghanistan, you have the right to have an AK-47 in your house.
AKs, RPGs, anti-tank rifles,
They
Russian
drew the line at pistols
12-7s.
But you can have everything else.
Yeah, like you can have. I mean, just
but
tons
I
and tons.
I have to do a background check for ammunition in the land of the free.
Land of the free. Yeah. Oh, most of the Middle East, you can kind of own whatever you want. You can go to Dubai, and there are stores that sell like gold-plated AKs and shit that you can just walk in, give them money, and walk out with the gun. Like, there's no background check. There's none of that. It's just here's money. Thank you for the gun. Okay, bye. And you can leave.
I can't wait till Lyman Bishop between governor of Montana and secedes. We're moving to Montana, you guys.
I've been wanting to go there for a while. That's my ultimate destination.
Yep.
Sandy said when and where for Montana.
Yep. I think Sandy and Lindsay get along really well.
Yeah, probably. Dear God.
No, because they're both shit talkers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, they are.
Let's get a Latina, a feisty Latina and a feisty Native woman together. That'll work out well, I'm sure, for everyone involved.
And that's why I want to have my own shack out in the woods.
That's a duck and cover moment.
Knocking on the door at 2:30 in the morning. I'm sleeping. Jason, let us in.
Please.
What, Andrew?
Please.
No, you made your bed. You sleep in it.
They're both on their periods.
Oh my God.
Yes. Oh man. So, all right.
Are you kidding me? On their periods, Lindsay only needs to be hungry.
Hangry.
Yeah,
like constantly she'll get all snappy and I'm like, have you eaten? Have you eaten?
Is your blood
Yep. Need to carry like fucking Snickers in a hopper and just pull one out every once in a while.
M&M's in a slingshot.
They're dark chocolate.
Commercial.
Oh.
Throw a chocolate grenade around the corner.
Pull the pin on one of those chocolate oranges. Chocolate.
All right, now that we've lost our female audience.
All of one.
Yeah, the one.
Biden's economy drags U.S. to the all-time low in the Heritage Freedom Index rating.
Gosh, what a surprise.
This year's Index of Economic Freedom paints a disturbing picture both at home and abroad. That is according to Heritage President Kevin Roberts. He says, quote, the decline of American economic freedom is serious cause for alarm and has real and tangible consequences for all Americans, especially for low-income families and the working class.
Gasp. Pearl clutch.
So surprised. The report determined that the U.S. fell 2.7 points from the 2021 Index of Economic Freedom to a record low score of 72.1, according to the data released Monday. The U.S. also fell to the lowest ranking globally, from the 20th spot last year's rating to 25 in 2022.
Yeah, I mean,
the index launched in 1995 evaluates countries on rule of law, government size, regulatory efficiency, and open markets, while also examining specific categories such as property rights, judicial effectiveness, government integrity, and tax burden.
government integrity. There's a contradiction in terms.
Americans are currently dealing with a 40-year high in inflation, with consumer price index rising 7.5% in January of this year compared to the same month in 2021. Biden's first year in office also saw supply chain crisis, U.S. consumer confidence plunging to an 11-year low, industries rocked by vaccine and mask mandates, and the U.S. national debt notching a new record when it surpassed $30 trillion.
Yep.
Since, according to the report, quote, since early 2020, when the Chinese Communist Party unleashed the COVID-19 pandemic on the world, it's verbatim. That's what it says in the article. We have dealt with the greatest political, social, and economic upheaval in the past century. The lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people have been deeply disrupted, not just by the virus, but especially by draconian lockdowns, intrusive public health mandates, and restrictions on commerce and trade. Trillions of dollars in new federal spending have further weakened our economy and caused a historic spike in inflation. Yeah.
Boy, that's new.
Shock face.
What? Yeah. This was inevitable. This was stuff that's been coming down the pipeline all along, and we all knew, that everything's just going to get worse. Like, calm down, guys. Everything's going to get much worse. It's like, and again, it's a calm down, guys. Everything's going to get much worse.
It's like, everything's fine, you say, tears are coming down your face.
It's all good. Yeah, this is anybody who lives in the United States right now who doesn't see everything around them and what's going on. They're that dog in the cartoon sitting there as everything's on fire and like they're clearly in hell. They're just like, this is fine. I am pleased with the current state of affairs.
Let's see. North Korea came in as the least free nation, followed by Zimbabwe, Sudan, Cuba, and Venezuela.
Then Bernie Sanders praised Venezuela and its freedom and how great it was.
Let's see. The index found Singapore came in the top spot. That's the most free. Followed by Switzerland, who has no COVID restrictions. Ireland, who has no COVID restrictions. New Zealand, Luxembourg, Taiwan, Estonia, Netherlands, Finland, and Denmark.
Oh yeah, Singapore is like fucking the wild, wild west, man. It is fucking great. I love Singapore.
Oh, it's Bitcoin capital. This year marks the first time since 2006 Australia didn't make it in the most free list, with Heritage pointing to the country's, quote, sustained severe lockdowns.
Oh, look at that.
On a side note, starting March 1st, Australia is allowing tourism again, which conveniently comes just a month after they had people locked up in isolation houses or COVID camps.
Can I go on tours of their concentration camps?
No.
Oh.
No. They have wooden doors.
Oh, because that'll stop me. How do I get through a door? Do you forget what I did for a living? How will I ever get through this shut locked door?
There's another joke there. I won't make that joke. But yeah, like
hard.
Like no shit, Sherlock. I mean, it's shit is bad and stuff.
Yeah, everything's fucked. Everything's going to continue to be
Everything is
fucked.
fucked and everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping
That takes me back.
That's gonna be
actually,
that's gonna be in my head for the next hour.
Actually, Ann Bonnie, who we're hoping to, she said she should probably be on the show next week.
Hashtag Trailer Swift.
Yeah, it's she should be on the show next week. She actually posted
we are launching. I'm just gonna announce it now. We are launching a meme campaign to harass her into coming on Anarchy Among Friends.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'm declaring a memedom. I don't know what a memedom is, but I'm declaring
a meme hod.
A meme hod. Yes, I'm launching a meme insurgency against her.
Yeah, but she posted a thing on her Twitter that she was listening to to Limp Bizkit's I forget what the name of that album was, but that one that had that on it, and I was like, oh man, that takes me back.
Chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water.
No, it was the one before it.
Oh, okay.
It was the album before that. I can't remember what it is. It's got like a dude, like this stylized dude on it. Anyway, that one. And she posted a picture that she was listening to that, and I laughed and said, "Oh, that takes me back to the days of getting high with my friends in middle school." And
okay, so I use Spotify for podcasts, and for the longest time, it was just I just used it for podcasts, right? Like I probably have 25 podcasts that I subscribe to, and then I was following this guy on TikTok who's a country artist, and he's like, hey, you don't hate country music, you just hate this poppy country music. And I'm like, yes, you are absolutely correct. And he's like, well, I have a playlist you would like. So I subscribe to that playlist, and it's just fantastic, like traditional country music, folk music. It's beautiful. And I went, why have I never explored the playlist on Spotify? And now I'm on a Spotify playlist rabbit hole, and I have discovered
significant other. Is that
I have discovered the grunge playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, but the problem is grunge playlists have Pearl Jam on them.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Three Dog Night, Sublime.
I hate Pearl Jam in a way that I cannot properly describe. I want to crush Eddie Vedder's larynx with the heel of my boot every time I hear the opening of Jeremy. I'm like, it needs to end. I fucking hate Pearl Jam.
So would you rather
much.
Pearl Jam or Nickelback?
100% Nickelback. No doubt. No hesitation. Wow. I fucking hate Pearl Jam.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
I hate them so much. So much. I cannot properly describe. My first tweet when I first joined Twitter a couple of years ago, my very first tweet was literally, and I quote, I'm using my very first tweet to tell Pearl Jam how much you guys suck. Seriously, fuck you.
Listen
Sandy
to nothing
gave
but,
you a strike.
Yeah, listen to nothing but Pearl Jam or drink nothing but IPA.
I'd rather the IPAs. I'm going to get sicker than a dog, but I'd rather the IPAs. I don't care. I will puke my guts out just so I don't have to listen to that obnoxious twit fucking moan into the microphone.
Well,
for
when
3
you're
minutes.
When you're in the hospital not able to eat bacon, we will play Pearl Jam for you to send you off.
If I am ever in a fucking coma, all you need to do to wake me up is play Pearl Jam, and I will wake up and be like, turn that fucking shit off.
Nope. So.
I hate Pearl Jam so much.
Now we know how to trigger Andrew.
Oh, so much. You don't even know. So much. Lindsay laughs
Guess how
about it
I'm
all
starting the
time.
next podcast.
I was just thinking that. Our new intro.
And a shitty
Not Pearl Jam. I'm just
fucking
gonna
riff.
do Eddie Vedder. I'm gonna do like from the Into the Wild soundtrack.
God, I just
Society. You're a crazy.
want to
breed.
just get on stage and just smash every one of their instruments with a fucking axe and just knock Eddie Vedder out and be like, there, you're welcome. And oh God, I hate Pearl Jam so much.
Well, there you go. There's a suggestion from Jack.
I fucking love ska.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott's
Mighty
great.
Mighty Boss Stones.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of great bands that are ska, man. It's the Five Iron Frenzy, their album Cheeses of Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Fucking fantastic album. Fucking fantastic
So
album.
when we meme Anne Bonny hashtag Taylor Swift into submission and she comes on, we're gonna have to talk about music for like half that podcast.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, we're gonna bring up. I'm gonna bring up Pearl Jam.
God, I hate Pearl Jam so much. God. I know it's irrational and I don't care, man. They're just fucking awful. They destroyed music. They took everything that Nirvana had created that was amazing, everything that Stone Temple Pilots did, all of that. They took that and they just trounced it into the ground with shitty commercialism and half-ass vocals. Vacuous lyrics. Fuck Eddie Vedder.
Oh, I should have picked a different name for this episode. So, yeah, let's throw out some links and get out of here, huh?
No! God,
You knew he was doing it. Come on now.
that is hell. If I go to hell, that will be my eternity. Will be having to listen to fucking Pearl Jam is my eternal torture. It's just so bad. Anyway, links. So if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, like I do, have it super conditioned, super soft, smell amazing. You can even get a beard straightener that's fucking fantastic. The beard straightener 2.0 has carbon fiber on it because it's cool. It's got gold on it too. It's super neat. Temperature control, all that sorts of stuff. They even have a elixir to put on your beard so that it doesn't hurt it with the heat. Check out thebeardstruggle.com. Use code InkAnarchist15. You get 15% off of your entire order from there, and you get to support me, which is super cool. Don't forget to buy Derica's book, Think for Yourself, a thinking workbook for beginners. It's available on Amazon right now. It is a workbook for beginners. Keep that in mind if you're going to buy it. Also, don't forget that I am an affiliate of RK Spookware, and if you are somebody who maybe 3D prints Freedom devices and you need parts for those Freedom devices, check out RK Spookware, and you can definitely get some pretty sweet additional parts because you can't make everything out of plastic. You do need some metal on there, and he sells that stuff, and you can totally get your hands on it. And if you use the link in the description, that is the affiliate link, you also get to support me, which is super cool, and I would really appreciate it. Yeah, check it out. We have a Woody themed gun, 3D printed. That's pretty freaking amazing. You gotta love it. Also, don't forget to check out our boy Boog Boogie 79. He makes the state flags that are the Boog state flags. He makes the Anarcho Unity flags. I have one of those over there as well. He makes all sorts of cool stuff, and hit him up on Twitter, BoogBoogie79. Also, make sure that you check out our boy Dave over at Poppins Patches. He makes fantastic patches. He makes the tactical tricorn hat. He does all this cool stuff. Super cool guy. He supports the channel, and he's absolutely amazing. The patches are really high quality and absolutely worth every penny, so make sure that you check out Poppins Patches.
Yes, he just released a new patch, right? Didn't he?
I believe recently, yes, he did release one.
Let's see. It is the... Oh, it's already sold out.
Oh, look at that. See how popular he is? Get in on that, man.
Tactical Parents is already sold out.
Yeah. So be sure that you're checking them out regularly, because those patches, I mean, they go fast, dude. He's very popular, and they are very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you keep checking that out. He also has got stickers. He's got t-shirts. He does the Boogalorian t-shirt that me and Chris came up with him. So that's a collab between us. So definitely check him out. Also find us on Odyssey, find us on Rumble. Support your local single moms. They're working their way through college. They're going to be doctors.
Yeah. All right, Josh, throw out your Twitter link.
I don't remember my Twitter link half the time. It's Moleman65 if you want to see a lot of shit talking, some politics, and some porn. Then go there.
Yeah, that's why you fit in with us.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I
right.
laughed the other day on Twitter, man. That's where all the morality police posting stuff like, we can see what you like, and everyone knows you're a degenerate. Man, if you watch my fucking show, you know I'm a filthy fucking degenerate. Don't give me that shit.
Right?
We talk about strippers on here all the time.
Constantly.
It literally says in the banner at the bottom of the video, at the very end, it says support single moms.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, give us a piece of life advice.
I have none. Just stay away from the government. Move to Montana. Tell Barry fuck off.
That was really weak.
That was pretty weak.
I'll be better next week. I'm sorry.
I'm not angry. I'm just I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed.
We'll
Listen
catch
to
on the
more
next
Pearl
one.
Jam in front of Andrew.
Peace.
Peace.